$28 million. That's the reported worth of Caitlin Clark's deal with Nike, but here's the kicker. Her WNBA salary? Just over $76,000. The math doesn't add up, right? Wrong. It's all part of a bigger plan that's about to shake up women's basketball. You might be wondering, who's Caitlin Clark? Well, she's not just any rookie. She's the NCAA's all-time leading scorer, and the Indiana Fever just snagged her as the first overall pick in the 2024 WNBA Draft. But here's the thing, her move to the pros isn't just about points on the board. Nike's throwing big money at Clark, and it's got everyone talking. Why would they invest so much in a rookie? What's the end game here? Stick around because we're about to uncover the game-changing strategy behind this massive deal. Trust me, it's bigger than basketball. Let's rewind a bit and look at how Caitlin Clark became Nike's golden girl. This isn't just any college player we're talking about. Clark's career at Iowa was nothing short of spectacular. She didn't just break records, she shattered them. Clark became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA Division I basketball history. That's not just women's basketball, that's all of Division I, men's and women's. Let that sink in for a moment. But Clark wasn't just about individual achievements. She led the Iowa Hawkeyes to the NCAA finals, turning heads and capturing hearts along the way. Her performances were electrifying, her range was ridiculous, and her passion for the game was contagious. Clark wasn't just playing basketball, she was putting on a show every time she stepped on the court. And you know who was watching? Nike. They saw the Clark effect in real time. Arenas were selling out, TV ratings were soaring, social media was buzzing. Clark wasn't just a basketball player, she was becoming a cultural phenomenon. Nike recognized this potential early on, signing Clark to her first name, image, and likeness NIL deal back in October 2022. They saw the future of women's basketball and they wanted in on the ground floor. But here's where things get really interesting. As Clark's college career came to an end and she prepared to enter the WNBA, the big brands came calling. And I mean big. Under Armour stepped up with a whopping $16 million offer over 4 years. Adidas threw their hat in the ring with $6 million over the same period. These weren't just endorsement deals, they were statements of intent. The message was clear. Caitlin Clark is the future of basketball. So why did Nike go all in? Why were they willing to outbid everyone else by such a large margin? $28 million is no small change, even for a company like Nike. What did they see that made them open the checkbook so wide? The answer lies in Nike's bigger strategy. You see, Nike isn't just looking at Clark as a basketball player, they're seeing her as a key to unlocking a massive untapped market. Right now, Nike's women's business accounts for only 22% of their total sales. That's a lot of room for growth, and they see Clark as the perfect catalyst to drive that expansion. Think about it, Clark's appeal goes beyond just basketball fans. She's capturing the imagination of sports fans in general, and more importantly, she's inspiring a whole new generation of young athletes. Nike isn't just betting on Clark's performance on the court, they're betting on her ability to influence and inspire off it. This deal isn't just about selling shoes or jerseys, it's about changing the perception of women's sports. It's about creating role models and icons that can drive a cultural shift. Nike sees Clark as someone who can bridge the gap between women's and men's sports, someone who can make people sit up and take notice. And let's not forget the timing. Women's sports are gaining more attention and respect than ever before. The WNBA is seeing increased viewership. Women's soccer is breaking records. There's a growing appetite for women's sports content and merchandise. Nike's massive investment in Clark is a bet that this trend isn't just a passing phase. It's the future. You thought Nike's $28 million deal with Caitlin Clark was big. Well, buckle up because that's just the beginning. Nike's already working on something that's going to change the game for women's basketball. Caitlin Clark's very own signature sneaker. Now, you might be thinking, so what? Lots of players have their own shoes. But here's the thing. In the WNBA, signature sneakers are about as rare as a perfect game. Clark's joining an elite club that only has 2 other members, Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart. That's it. 3 active WNBA players with their own kicks. And Clark's barely stepped foot on a pro court. This isn't just about putting Clark's name on a shoe, it's a statement. Nike's saying, this rookie isn't just good, she's a game changer. They're betting big that Clark's gonna do for women's basketball what LeBron did for the NBA. Remember when LeBron got his first signature shoe before he even played his first pro game? Nike's pulling the same move with Clark. So what's Clark's vision for her shoe? She's not looking to reinvent the wheel. She wants something that works on the court. Low cut for a agility, good ankle support to keep her quick, and fun colors because why not? It's simple, but that's the point. Clark's game is all about efficiency and effectiveness. Her shoe's going to reflect that. But let's talk about what this shoe really means. It's not just about Clark, it's about every young girl who's ever dreamed of playing in the WNBA. When they see Caitlin Clark rocking her own signature shoe, they're seeing possibility. They're seeing a future where women's basketball stars get the same treatment as the guys. Think about it. How many kids grew up wanting to be like Mike because they saw those Jordan sneakers? Now, we might have a whole generation growing up wanting to play like Clark. Now, that's not just good for Clark or Nike. That's good for the entire sport. And let's not forget the market impact. The sneaker game is big business. If Clark's shoe takes off, we're not just talking about a new product. We're talking about a shift in the industry. Suddenly, women's basketball shoes aren't just a niche market. They're a major player. This could open the floodgates. If Clark's shoe is a hit, you better believe other brands are going to be scrambling to sign the next big WNBA star. We could be looking at the start of a whole new era in athletic endorsements. But here's the real kicker. Clark's shoe could drop as early as next WNBA season. That's lightning fast in the sneaker world. Nike's not wasting any time. They know they've got something special and they're moving quick to capitalize on it. So what does all this mean for women's sports? It's huge. We're talking about more than just a shoe. We're talking about recognition, respect, investment. When a company like Nike puts this much faith in a women's basketball player, it sends a message to the whole world. It says women's sports aren't just a sideshow, they're the main event. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about breaking barriers. It's about changing perceptions. It's about showing the world that women's sports can be just as exciting, just as marketable, and just as valuable as men's. You thought Nike's deal with Caitlin Clark was just about sneakers. Think again. This rookie's making waves far beyond the basketball court. Let's talk about the Clark effect and how it's shaking up the entire sports world. First off, Nike's not the only one who sees Clark's star power. Gatorade, State Farm, and Panini have all jumped on the Clark train. We're talking about endorsement deals worth around $3 million. That's on top of her Nike contract. Clark's not just a basketball player anymore, she's a brand. But here's where it gets wild. Clark's WNBA salary, just over $76,000. Her endorsement deals, they could hit tens of millions annually. You don't need to be a math whiz to see something's off here. This isn't just a payday for Clark, it's a wake-up call for the entire sports industry. Think about it. How many WNBA rookies are pulling in this kind of cash? How many female athletes in any sport are seeing these numbers? Clark's success is blowing the doors wide open for future generations. Young girls watching Clark aren't just seeing a basketball star, they're seeing possibility. They're seeing a future where female athletes can rake in the big bucks just like the guys. But let's zoom out for a second. Clark's deal isn't just changing things for athletes, it's challenging the entire structure of women's sports. For years, we've seen top female athletes earn more from endorsements than from their league salaries. But Clark's taking it to a whole new level. What happens when a rookie's earning potential dwarfs the league's salary cap? What does that mean for the WNBA's future? Could we see a push for higher salaries? Or will the league have to rethink its entire economic model? These aren't just hypothetical questions. Clark's success could be the catalyst that forces real change in how women's sports operate. We might be looking at the beginning of a new era where women's leagues can offer salaries that compete with the endorsement deals. And it's not just about the money. Clark's visibility is changing the game. When brands like Nike, Gatorade, and State Farm put their weight behind a female athlete, it sends a message. It tells the world that women's sports aren't just a sideshow, they're a main event. This could be the start of a snowball effect. As Clark's star rises, more brands might start looking at women's sports as a serious investment. More visibility means more fans, more revenue, and more opportunities for athletes across the board. But here's the real kicker. Clark's impact could reach far beyond basketball. We're talking about a shift in how society views women's sports as a whole. When a female athlete becomes a household name, it changes perceptions. Suddenly, women's sports aren't just for women, they're for everyone. This isn't just about Clark anymore. It's about every girl picking up a basketball, or a soccer ball, or a tennis racket. It's about showing the world that women's sports can be just as exciting, just as marketable, and just as valuable as men's. So what's next? That's the million-dollar question. Or should we say the $28 million question? Clark's journey is just beginning, but its ripples are already being felt across the sports world. Will other brands follow Nike's lead? Will we see more female athletes landing massive endorsement deals? And how will leagues respond to this shifting landscape? Caitlin Clark's journey from NCAA superstar to WNBA rookie with a $28 million Nike deal isn't just a personal win. It's a game changer for women's sports. Think about it, a Signature shoe before her first pro game? That's unheard of, but Nike sees what we all see. Clark's not just a player, she's a movement. This deal is shaking up the whole system. It's challenging how we value women athletes, how leagues structure salaries, and how brands invest in sports. Clark's impact, it's like a ripple turning into a tidal wave. And here's the kicker, this might be just the beginning. Clark's success could open doors in other sports, maybe even beyond athletics. We might look back years from now and say, that's when everything changed. The Clark effect is real, and it's just getting started.